Thank you very much, Waziri. Please be seated. Our CS for cooperatives and MCMCs, Chelugui, the CS for trade and investment and industry, Rebecca, our PS for agriculture, honorable members of parliament and chairs of various committees, and all the stakeholders from the avocado subsector. Good afternoon. First and foremost, I want to apologize that I did invite you to come here early enough and I was not here to receive you. Ordinarily, I'm an assistant to somebody, and my schedule is normally dictated by the schedule for the president. We had a meeting at 8:30 for him to give assent to the Affordable Housing Bill of 2023 into an act of parliament and to give it effect. And because of the importance of that particular law, it took long and long, always past midday. I therefore want to apologize that you are here. I was not here. It's not my habit. I am normally very respectful. And I want to thank the CSS here for carrying on with you. And let me say welcome here to this consultative forum. I've sat here to listen to you. And I did convene this meeting because I helped the president in matters agriculture where interventions are required, because agriculture is very important to our economy and it's very significant role to our GDP. And I've been spearheading reforms in the coffee subsector, the tea subsector, the dairy subsector, and I also, on invitation, get involved in other crops. We have had some interventions in macadamia, and we are very happy that things are working very well. Farmers were being paid as low as 20 shillings. Now we are 110 shillings because of various interventions that we made. And the issues of this subsector, avocado, are brought to the attention of the president, and he didn't ask me to look into it. And I announced that I will be convening a meeting last week. I had to postpone because of the intense interest that was shown by everybody. Calls were coming from all over the country, from the aggregators, from the exporters, from the farmers, from the processors, from all the stakeholders, and we had to change to this week so that we enlarge the participation. First and foremost, let me say that as a government, we do appreciate the critical role you play in the agricultural sector and in our economy, and your place in earning foreign exchange for our country. This sector is very critical to the performance of our economy and our foreign exchange earnings. And therefore, if there is disquiet in the subsector, it is of great concern to us. Number two, there is a great lady who spoke here about involving stakeholders in policy decisions. Precisely, that's why you are here. This is a very consultative government. And we are a government that came through the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. We know the value of engaging everybody, right from the farmer to the exporter, in the whole value chain. And that is why I said you come so that we have a conversation. And that confirms that the Ruto administration, where I serve as deputy president, takes seriously involvement of stakeholders in policies and in matters that may affect what they do. So that is why you are here. And I have listened to you very keenly. I had done some bit of research, and we've got a bit of work to do so that we all work together. And I want to appreciate that all the comments here were all very positive. There is no passing the blame. There is no blaming each other. It's really everybody wanting us to have a solution. I want to thank our members of parliament for being here from the avocado growing regions and in the various committees of both the National Assembly and the Senate, because they play the representing role in the offices that they serve. When the farmers have issues, it's their responsibility to take them up with the government, to take it up in Parliament, so that we all agree on the way we move forward. So having listened to the issues, there are issues of creating larger capacity to harmonize between HCDA and KEFIS to serve the farmers better, to serve the exporters better. I think that is something we are going to work on in terms of enhancing their capacity, in terms of dealing with the duplication, in terms of making it smooth. You know, when you say that your goods cannot be inspected over the weekend because it's a weekend and they are perishable goods, that is very sad. That is something we shall address. You know, this facility, that aspect is like a hospital or a police station. I don't think you can close inspecting perishable goods because of the weekend. The losses will be too much to bear. I think these are things we are going to go through so that we agree on the way we move forward. In matters of marketing, it is true, we are depending on the traditional market, that is the European market, which is becoming very, very, very slippery and a bit difficult because of standards, because of regulations. And there is obvious need, even as we protect and enlarge that traditional market, for us to look for new spheres, to look for new areas, mostly in Asia, in America, and other areas around the world. We have appointed 2 cohorts of our envoys, ambassadors and high commissioners. One group has already reported, the other one we appointed last week. They are undergoing training. And the message from the president is very clear, that we must change the way we do diplomacy from the traditional diplomacy of just looking at good relations to commercial diplomacy. We want our ambassadors and high commissioners to spend 80% of their time tightening existing markets and expanding them and looking for new markets. And we are signing MOUs with them. I am aware, like in India, they are levying custom duty of about 30% to avocado. Our new ambassador there, Peter Munyeri, has instructions that he must work around it because it's a good market. A market like China is huge, you know. Our new ambassador there has instructions on what they need to do to enlarge that aspect. Our CSCF for trade, we have agreed on the appointment of trade attaches to our embassies, people who can go and do trade and market Kenyan goods very, very, very aggressively. We'll be seeking partnership with you as organization, where you can also chip in, where we can get Kenyans abroad in the diaspora at a certain fee can also join in the marketing strategy to augment what our embassies are doing. So this will be a long conversation, but I want to say we are seized of the matter. We know there is a challenge with the Finance Act, and the members of Parliament here have acceded that there is a challenge. There are issues in every document that may not serve the intended purpose. And I want to say in a document, we may have 1 or 2 clauses that go counter to the intended objective. But I also want to say that if in any exam, 70% is an A. That does not mean because there are few things that are wrong, it's an entirely bad document. So what we must do all the time, and that's what the teachers were doing when they were marking, wherever they had needed some correction, they would do it in red and say, you correct this one, correct that one, correct this one, correct that one. But you don't throw out the entire document. So our members of Parliament are seized of the matter. Discussions on the finance bill have started in earnest. In the next 2-3 months, the MPs will do what they need to do so that the amendments that need to be made to reflect the reality of our agricultural sector, that you cannot, you cannot make the farmers unable to produce, so that we don't discourage them. So the MPs are going to do their part. But in the immediate, I have set up a meeting tomorrow with the Minister for National Treasury, the Minister of Agriculture, Cooperatives, and we'll agree among yourselves. You can get like 8 representatives, you can get a few aggregators, a few farmers, a few exporters, a few processors, so that we look at the issue of Clause 23A, what we can do for now, so that we don't stall, we don't stall the activities of this subsector. You know, we are listening government, we are not obstinate. We are people who are also well-grounded. You know, we talk to many people. Even as I sit here, I talk to many avocado farmers, I talk to many people on the ground. The president does the same, and we know what is happening and what we need to do. So we'll agree before you leave. We get maybe 2 farmers, 2 aggregators, 2 processors, 2 exporters, and then our ministries. And I have already talked to the Commissioner General of KRI when I went outside. I want a meeting tomorrow, so that just like we did in coffee, we look for first aid solution as we give the members of parliament time. You know, the laws also have a process. Once a law has been enacted, the process of dealing with it is also quite elaborate, and that is a law, and due process is also very important. But the beauty is that we have an opportunity to look for a temporary solution so that this trade can go on unhindered and everybody is okay. Is that fine? And finally, because there are many issues now, we'll set up a small task force. My chief of staff will coordinate with all the stakeholders, so that all the issues you have raised now, they can sit down on as a smaller group and propose remedies on all issues that you have raised. So that if there are legislative issues that we need to enact, we'll do so. If we need to agree on what to do with the HCDA and KEFIS, we agree what we need to do. On the issues of marketing, on the issues of grading, all the issues you have raised will come up in the next 1 week with a task force, with you being represented, because you are the most important people in the whole of this setup. We'll have a few people in government, but the real stakeholders are yourselves, so that that task force can start working in earnest, and within 30 days we can have a report that is actionable. And then we can call you again to discuss the findings of the task report. Is that okay? And I want to say everything starts this way. This is a good beginning. At least we have sat. We know there is a problem. We acknowledge there is one, because that's the beginning of healing. First, you acknowledge there is a problem. Then you find out what is the problem. Then you find out how do you deal with the problem. And then we'll be able to make progress. So I want to say that as an administration, we are more than ready to engage with stakeholders to make sure that farmers are happy. And I want to say, avocado is now part of each and every meal here in this residence, even in the State House. You play a very central role in our scheme of things. And it's everywhere. When I travel out of the country, avocado is there. What we need to do as a country is to make sure that is part of every meal everywhere in the world. The Kenyan avocado. Not just any other avocado. The Kenyan avocado should be in every meal all over the world, so that we can increase our export quantities, earn the country more, make our farmers happier, enlarge the farms, make sure that we have as many farms as possible. I have about 13 trees that I inherited from my late mother, but I have not seen any aggregator looking for me. Yeah, so I don't know who is operating from near my place. My place is near the Hobbe Forest, just near to the Sagana State Lodge. If there is any aggregator there, please come. I have some 13 trees that I'm not able to market on my own because the quantity is low. Wewe ndio hapo. Mbona huja kunitafuta? Wewe ni bure sana. Wewe utatoa biashara wapi? There are some 13 trees nilipewa hapa na mama, ninakula, zingine zinaharibika. Kuja unione. Utakuja? Kuja. So I want to say, let us see how we create cooperative societies for aggregation to help farmers to aggregate quantities for better bargaining power, for shared services, for better bargaining in terms of inputs. So CSHL, we will ask you in this space, just like you have done in coffee, let's try also to encourage our farmers to get into cooperative societies. Of course, we are looking at the Cooperative Act. Please sit down, so that we inject integrity in the leadership of our societies, so that our farmers can again benefit from aggregation. You know, we are coming up with aggregation and industrial parks in every county, again to bring goods together, where we can get cold room facilities, so that when goods are perishable, they are able to be stored in a manner that they don't get destroyed and the farmers make losses. So there are many things we shall do together, and I will be quite happy to provide leadership in the avocado subsector. I will be quite happy to provide leadership. And for me, anything that I touch, I take it to the head. I don't leave it in the middle, and I don't give up. That word giving up is nowhere in my vocabulary. Nowhere. You know, and I say what the aggregators have said, please, we want you to expand your businesses. You know, we have shut down drinking during the day. So we want you to absorb these young men who are drinking to come and work. We have a good workforce, and I want to assure you, this war on alcohol and drug abuse, we are not relenting. It was affecting the most productive sector of our population. And for us, when this sector is working, it's good for the country, because our young people have something to do. So the whole strategy is interfaced. As we are fighting alcohol, we must create employment for those people. We must create activities for them. Otherwise, we cannot just ask them to stop drinking and they have nowhere to go. So we'll work together, and we are keen to make sure that this sector is protected, this sector is helped to grow, so that we can enlarge the acreage at avocado, so that we can increase our exports out of the country, so that we can increase earnings for our farmers. And we don't want to see situations like I saw in Gatanga, where farmers are going wild. You know, it should never happen that way, because we have a government that is responsible, and we have a government that listens. And that is why when people sit together and reason together, it's very good for the country. So mimi nataka nimshukuru nyinyi sana, mtakubaliana wale wataka mkutano ya kesho, tutafute solution ya that clause, na tutapata solution, because we did it in coffee and things are okay. Tuendelee. Then again, my chief of staff will work it. Tutatangaza task force to work on avocado, tuanze kazi within a month's time, tuite nyinyi tena, we present the findings, we criticize, we add, it's okay, Wanjiko, so that we agree on what we need to do for this sector. Sio ni sawa? Sio ni sawa? Sasa kuna mzee mmoja alisema lazima mkule hapa, mtakula kwa sababu sasa this is iko lunch mmetengenezewa hapa, and again I apologize for delaying you. You are very busy people. I mean, when we sit here for so many hours, it's a big loss to the economy and to our country. It is not our habit. We don't, you know, we are not in that habit of keeping people waiting for too long. Munisamehe, ni vile kazi ilitokea na lazima ningekuwa pale na mkubwa wangu. Lakini tutaketi tena na tutaketi tuongee mambo ya maana. Na hii maneno ya avocado, mimi niko hapo. You know, mimi niko hapo. Mambo ya kilimo, tuko hapo. Because this is the only way to sort out this country and our economy. The agricultural sector is everything. Our economy starts with agriculture, ends in agriculture. And will mobilize all resources. Our diplomats will be in it. Our people in trade and investment will be in it. Our people in cooperatives will be in it. Our people in agriculture will be in it. All of us will be there, and we are there to support you and to give you the necessary support so that we make sure that things move in the right direction. Kwa hayo mengi, asanteni sana.